Not sure. Not sure. Right, here we are.
I should be able to control that.
Yeah.
Wait, let me just get up all the fixtures. Jack, today's my day. Today's my day. But I'm gonna wait for people to come in. I want the other
Yeah, you need.
fans.
You got some receipts to collect and all that kind
Listen,
of stuff. Right?
Woo! Today
Actually,
is
not.
my
I'm gonna move
day.
this over here.
Okay. Today's my day, so I'm extra smiley, extra happy. We love it. We love it. We love when we get like this, Jack. But let's get into some of the fixtures. Let's get into some of the games. What game are you happy to start on today, Jack? Because I do want to get to the main thing, the main topic, but I feel like we can leave it to a little bit and just kind of speak on other things that kind of need to be spoken out first. What do you want to start off first with? You start off with probably the best game of the week.
Yeah, I think that's probably worth doing. I mean, I guess best game of the week. It kind of depends who you are.
Well, the best game of the week, as in the best match of the week, has to be Brentford.
Sure.
Liverpool, 3-3. Your boy Mo Salah again, Jack's best friend, does it again. But Liverpool, unfortunately, don't win. Brentford, Sammy is in the cook, guys. Sammy, listen. Sammy said it. Sammy, today's my day. Today's my day. So today I'm gonna enjoy. I don't usually enjoy these lives as much, but when Arsenal don't win. But today, let me have it. And I'm not gonna talk yet. Let's just carry on right now. But Jack, Liverpool against Brentford, or Brentford against Liverpool. Liverpool were away from home, 3-3. What a thrilling game! Probably the best game of the season so far, as in the fact that thrilling. Both teams had chances to win the game at the same time. Oh, that's a nice new effect right there. I like a bit of that. But Jack, tell me, how did you feel about this? How did you feel about this game and Liverpool dropping 2 points?
I think it's all the classic cliches, isn't it? Chance missed. All that kind of stuff comes up. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is exactly the kind of thing I wanted to happen. Liverpool losing or Liverpool just getting a draw for me is absolutely ideal. I love it. I think this is something that I'm going to probably keep going back to, James, as we go on here. But yeah, we look at the table and we go from top to bottom in terms of points totals. I know, we're only game week 6, but 14, 13, 13, 13, 13, 12. The team on 12 has a game in hand and they're playing Norwich. So Brighton could be top of the table after 6 game weeks, West Ham, okay, not pretty, but solid. Villa with their surprise win. So for me, I was talking to friends about this over the weekend. This is exactly the way I want the season to go this year. I want it to be really close. I want to be talking to you and making bold claims in game week 37, game week 36, game week 38 that we don't know who's going to win the league. I don't want to just have the debate of who's going to get Europa League, who's going to get relegated. It doesn't matter. I want to have the debate on who's going to win the league, because far too often over the last however long, whoever's won the league has really kind of won it for some time. And we've kind of known that 5-6 game weeks before the end of the actual whole competition. So the fact that we are where we are, some shocking results, but I think it's just some good, difference makers across the board. And James, next weekend, you know what game we got, don't you? It's first versus second. We got City versus Liverpool. So there's going to be even more of a divide in terms of, who's clearly going to go through top and who's not. So,
So what my take from this game is, I felt Brentford, I might have just misjudged them just a little because they look like a proper team.
Right.
They they look like a team that could be a mid-table side that no team will get an easy game from them, especially especially at home for Brentford. Sammy said it here. Ivan Toney is the truth. He is a bully. He is a player that I always get a bit weird when strikers do well in the Championship. I don't know how they're always going to transition to the Premier League, because Premier League is generally a whole different ball game standard wise, But he's coming right there, and he's he's fitting, and I won't be surprised if there's going to be teams snooping at him next season. But I look at it from the Liverpool's side of it. 2 points loss. But I think what's going to hurt Jurgen Klopp in Liverpool more was that they lost 2 leads. And that's, to me, the biggest thing. Taking a 2-1 lead after kind of scrapping it out and finally getting that goal, you're thinking, okay, they're finally going to take over now. They peg them back again. But as soon as the third goal goes and you're thinking, okay, this is done. Surely it's done right now. Liverpool definitely going to win it. Them failing to hold on, to me, is a big, big, big thing there. Virgil van Dijk, I felt he was all right. I felt he was good. But it's very unlike a Liverpool side, especially with him at the back, to leak 3 goals. So that's something to be worried about. But on the other end is Jack's best friend again, Mo Salah. It's just Jack. It's relentless now. It's goal in. It's game in, game out. You know what you're going to get from Mo Salah. He might right now. I feel like he only needs 1 or 2 chances. It's a goal, and to me, that's what he's doing. This Liverpool team, they're still waiting to really establish themselves in this league. As in, I'm waiting for that marquee match to kind of put it down as, guys, you're going to have to do a lot to beat us. Yeah, Liverpool have been good this year, but I'm still waiting for them to really kind of, put their foot down. And it hasn't been that yet. We've seen some big wins, but not quite convincing. Crystal Palace, yes, it was 3-0, but Jack, let's be truthfully honest there. Crystal Palace could have got something out of that game. Maybe even won it. Liverpool scoring from 3 set pieces, but 2 points drop for Liverpool. If you're Brentford, it's a completely.
You're buzzing if you're Brentford. Look at the first 6 games that you've played. Look at some of the results you've pulled off. I mean, you're happy as Larry at the moment. If you're Brentford as well, goal for the season, probably not getting relegated. I would say right now they're going to be well on their way to not being relegated. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if they're finishing north of 15th. But still, if you can finish 15th, 16th, 17th, mission accomplished. Go again next year. Try and build something. I like the manager. I like the fact that they didn't go too crazy in the transfer market. We've seen that happen a bunch of times with teams coming up and thinking, oh God, we have to buy Premier League talent and then try and mash them all together and hope we stay up. I think we know that on the most part that doesn't really seem to work.
Sammy makes a great point here talking about Liverpool missing Thiago, because you're right. I felt throughout the whole game, Sammy, I never felt Liverpool always had control of it. All right, because it was just it seemed that they would get their chances to obviously go forward, but once they had the ball, they were always frailty. There was always a bit of a scare Liverpool could turn the ball over and it could hurt them. Thiago missing, as much as he hasn't come in and hit the ground running with Liverpool, this is a game for him to kind of slow them down, get the crowd a bit low a little bit, and get Liverpool moving. And to me that is a great shout, right there. But Liverpool 2 points drop. Let's move over to their.
But again, just to say though, James, as well. I mean, they're still a bit wasteful. Liverpool is still wasteful. And have been, yeah. 16 shots, 6 on target. Okay, you're at Brentford, that's fine, but it is still Brentford. And there's a certain level of, you do need some better quality opportunities, I think, to come up. And I think Sammy raises a really good point. If Thiago's in this team and playing the full 90 minutes, maybe you don't have 16 shots, maybe you have 12, 13. But in terms of shots on target and kind of better opportunities, maybe in terms of those key performance indicators, right, those KPIs of shots on targets, goals, which are kind of the 3 that you would look at, you're probably looking at a slightly better functionality there with somebody like Thiago in your team. So, it's a good point.
I'll definitely understand that there. But let's move on to Manchester United, and they having their first losses of the season, a big devastating loss to Aston Villa at home. They're still undefeated away from home, but for some reason at home they just keep they're undefeated away from home, but at home it's just not seeming to click. And now watching them, the fact that they've lost now, Jack, they were your pick to win the league. Where do they kind of go from here? Because I feel like it's the same things always coming up with Man United every season.
Well, I mean, first of all, Man United, they could have won this game 3-1. In the same way that I think Villa could have won this game 3-1. So this is not going to be kind of a cliched result. And looking at the result, obviously everybody's going to just immediately look at the penalty and think, oh well, we'll just go from there. That's not the way this happened at all. I think it was it Matty Cash? No, Matty Cash through to Matt Target on the left. That should have been a goal. Harry Maguire with a poor back pass to David De Gea. That should have been a goal. So, for me, yes, you can say same old problems, but Manchester United had chances to score here throughout the entire game. A couple of nice saves from Emi Martinez, and then the penalty is ropey. I still have faith in this team. Like I say, I do not expect it to be pretty at any point. This is a good Aston Villa team, and they played very, very well. So for me, I'm not worried in much the same way that I expect to see results of this nature from the other three big teams who seem to be within this title race this season. The big question though, James, and this is the one kind of bruise I keep likening it to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is going to be the
elephant in the room.
Right.
The elephant in the room. I did one thing before, and I'll let you get back into it. But once Man United lose, it's the same thing that's going to happen every single time, and it's getting a little bit toxic now. It's getting a little bit like that.
I don't know. I still think things are going in the right direction. Personally, I still think that that any Manchester United fan at this point who's willing to give away what has now been built under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that's a very short-term memory problem that Manchester United fans would have. Do they really want Louis van Gaal, David Moyes, Jose Mourinho back in the football club? I would say, it's better do the dance with the devil than the devil you don't. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. But obviously, James, the more and more and more that these kinds of things start to happen and start to come up, the questions need to be asked. Like I've said to you, I'm very, very high on his ability to keep cohesion in the dressing room and a good atmosphere and everybody's on the same page and the culture's back and all this kind of stuff. But this is football. We need you to be good at being a football manager, not just a man manager. We need the football side of things to take over at some point. Some questionable decisions across the board. I rate Bruno Fernandes as a penalty taker just as much as I'm sure the next guy does. He sure gets plenty of time to practice them in games. But Cristiano Ronaldo is Cristiano Ronaldo. It's surprising to me that he did not take the penalty. It's surprising to me that Solskjaer would maybe choose Fernandes ahead of Ronaldo. I don't know if that's necessarily the smartest thing in the world. And again, I think Sammy, I want to make sure we get into the comments here a little bit. Here we go. Man United midfield is so bad. Again, I don't think the quality within midfield is actually bad. You're talking about Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba. There's some really elite names in there. We can't talk about this midfield as a bad midfield. It's where they're being put and in the order in which they're being put. I totally agree. I hate Pogba on the wings too. I think it makes no sense. This idea that there is going to be this 4-3-3 formation that keeps being spoken about. Yeah, I think you need a Scott McTominay or somebody of that nature at the back. And then you need to let Pogba on the left or on the right, whatever, with Bruno Fernandes and let them do their thing. It's Solskjaer's, incessant need to play Fred, who, hard worker, but is the quality there? I don't think so. I really don't. So anyway.
I don't quite look at it from that point of view because I look at this game and I'd be like, it's Villa, good side. Yeah, but it's still Manchester United at home. We question this Manchester United team, but we want to see games like this where it's not always scrappy. Because, Jack, and I know, to win a title, it's not going to be pretty. But you can't scrap out 38 games throughout a season.
Right.
There needs to be the element of control. And I felt with this Man United team today, there was never real control. You like the midfield, Jack. I think the midfield, bar Pogba and Fernandes, is quite poor.
But James, that's two of the midfield positions. That's two of them.
First of all he doesn't trust Pogba in there. That's why majority of the time he doesn't play there. Yeah, Fernandes, top quality guy. But then I look behind them and Fred McTominay, all right. But Jack, that's never going to win you a league. That's never going to give you the control of a Paul Scholes back in the day or a Michael Carrick. They don't seem to have that. And to me, that will be the detriment. You say that, okay, they created chances and all that sort of stuff there. But me watching the game, they didn't ever. I never felt that Man United had a sustained bit of pressure that really put Aston Villa under the cosh. You know, it wasn't like balls were going into Ronaldo. Jack, how many chances were like created for players like Ronaldo in there? There wasn't too many. Ronaldo, I don't think Ronaldo really got a sniff throughout the day. And to me, it's down to the controlling. When Man United lose, the first thing that you're going to point out, David, thank you. Thank you for joining us again. Welcome to the chat. We will get to Tottenham, so relax. we will definitely be getting there, David. We will definitely be getting there. But I look at the Man United team, and I just feel that maybe it's just a step too far for them, and maybe the manager just isn't right. Because Jack, as we say, there is no excuse, but it seems to be week in and week out, we still point out the same mistakes being made, changes, formations, all the sort of stuff that.
But James, week in and week out, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense.
Week in and week out, it seems to be the same issue. You know, so once the young boys
but
game.
James, the last Premier League match, Manchester United won 2-1. The one before that was 4-1. They beat Wolves, draw to Southampton, beat Leeds, beat Everton. You know, there's you say week in and week out. That just sounds like football cliche that doesn't actually
but I look at it from this point of view. Against Newcastle, yeah, they were good. Yeah, they got the goals. But Newcastle, Jack, could have won that game easily. Newcastle had chances, turnovers. Like, yes, the final result is is the final result. But I look at this Manchester United team and you see weaknesses there. That young boys game, Jack, that shouldn't happen.
But James, there's weaknesses in every team. Your title winners lost at the weekend. Liverpool drew with Brentford, conceded 3 goals.
Okay, who are you more convinced with, Chelsea or Man United?
At the moment, Man United.
More than Chelsea?
Yeah, at the moment, 100%.
To win the title?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Who are you more convinced with, Man City or Man United? To win the title.
Man City or Man United?
Yeah.
Oh, Man United. Still Man United. Man United, James. Man United for me is still title favourites. Don't get it wrong. I'm not a huge fan of your criticisms relative to the people that they're being compared to. Like, if we're making these kinds of criticisms, but then we're also talking about the same game week where Chelsea also lose at home. Okay, to Man City, but Man City, you haven't been great. Liverpool, there's a 3-3 with Brentford. That's not terrific either. So I guess my point is, I didn't look at the Villa game and go, oh my God, I saw things there. Man United, maybe 4th at best. No, I didn't see that at all. It's a one-off game week. Bruno Fernandes scores that penalty, and we're talking about it, completely differently. It's a draw, and they're tied top for the table. I'm not worried about it overall. I'm really not. Those kinds of results will happen. But I think, if we do go back to those kinds of cliches, James, it's a home match. And yeah, Aston Villa are a good team, but are Aston Villa a great team? Are Aston Villa going for a title, going for top 4, going for top 6? I don't think so. I really don't. So, it's a loss. It's a loss. But in the same way that within the exact same game week, apart from Man City, the other two teams have really let themselves down too. Yeah. And City haven't played brilliantly this year at all anyway.
Jack, I get that. But the difference is that all three teams have a little bit more credit in the bank than like this Man United team when you really look at it. Liverpool's two seasons ago were Premier League champions. Man City are already the Premier League champions. Chelsea are European champions. Yeah, they have credibility. They have a little bit in in the bank. Do you really question the Chelsea manager?
So you're saying Manchester United Football Club don't have credibility?
This current squad don't have credibility.
Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafael Varane, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, David De Gea. These guys don't have credibility.
No, Jack. As a squad, no. You can't put you just can't put something together and honestly believe that they have credibility. Listen, once it's done,
James, that is a very, very bold take, saying that this Manchester United team don't have credibility.
Because, Jack, if you remember last season, did they not choke last season in the Europa League final against Villarreal?
But they'd already qualified for the Champions League, and they went against a cup master in Unai Emery and Villarreal.
Jack,
That doesn't worry me. It's the same way that the Conference League this year. If Spurs and Roma don't win or get to the final of the Conference League this year, I'm not going to look at it and go, I can't believe they didn't win the Conference League. I'm going to go, it's the Conference League. It's not the level that they're aspiring to. It's not something they are going for. I just think it's very bold of you to, in just kind of a one-off week where, were they convincingly beaten by Aston Villa? Absolutely not. So to kind of immediately write them off in the same game week where Chelsea lost, City haven't been great in the year, and Liverpool drew to Brentford. I just think it's a bit bold to not say that Ronaldo doesn't have credibility. Varane doesn't have credibility. Pogba. That's crazy.
Jack. Wait. Individuals in the team have credibility. The squad doesn't have credibility. Varane didn't win that Champions Leagues with Man United, did he? No. Yes, he has a winning mentality, but he hasn't won.
But James, these don't get reset. That's not the way it works. These don't get reset. This is also a team who've been fighting in and around the top four for a long time, and based on the transfer window they've had, they've signed the players that will push them over the edge. I personally do not feel that is a justified criticism on your part. We're not talking about a team who are going to be fighting for Europa League places this year. It's going to be a title challenging team. This is a one-off game week. I'm not worried about it.
I get it. You're not worried about it, but I look at this thing as a thing that will recur for this Man United team. I see the exact same patterns. I see the exact same faults as as the last few years. Yeah, times it'll be good, but I don't look at the team at times and feel that they have the same control as a Liverpool.
But that's not. That's not good enough, James, because we saw Chelsea. We saw Chelsea under Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard got fired for a reason. We can't just say that, because they were bad at a certain point last year, that they then can't move and go and do different things and be better. You cannot compare one team a certain way to a certain standard and another team to a certain way of a certain standard. We're measuring these teams by the same level. That's title. That's title. So we need to use the same criteria to measure them across the board.
Of course. And like, what criteria did I change there? The fact
so you're talking about how Manchester, it's been, these kinds of issues, it's been on and off for a few years. What were we talking about for the Chelsea team after Conte left? What were we talking about for Frank Lampard at points last year? You can't start saying Chelsea are convincing European champions, when they've had similar issues very, very recently.
They
lost at the weekend.
No, but Jack, they had similar issues. And what did they do? They rectified them issues by bringing in a new manager. They sorted out the majority of stuff that's going on, and they look like a title-winning team. This Manchester United team, in my eyes,
they lost at the weekend. It's not a good comparison.
Yeah, but Jack, they're going to lose. But Chelsea have shown me a lot more than what Man United have shown me. But again, we got to wait and see with this. We generally gotta wait and see. But again, let's move on to the Chelsea Man City game. And
I've got this banner ready, James.
Go on. What's the banner ready?
On the bottom.
Oh, soon.
I'll hide it.
Quick one. So Man City versus Chelsea. Just another masterclass to me. Let me first get into it. There's a reason why Man City have won 3 of the last 4 Premier League titles. And guys, you just seen that there. This Chelsea team were as rampant as you could possibly get at this moment of time. The start that they had was arguably one of the best we've seen for the point of view of the quality of teams that they were able to beat. Going away to the Emirates, winning. Going away to White Hart Lane, winning. Going away to Anfield, being a man down and winning. And if they would have beaten this Man City team, I believe that it would have really, really put a proper statement down of, listen, who's going to stop us? And
right.
This now, if Man City would have lost today, they weren't out of the title race. No, because you can't say that after 6 games. But for Chelsea, I think psychologically, that would have put them in a stratosphere of almost like they would have felt untouchable. And from what I've seen of the game, they were touched, and they were touched deeply. Yes, it was only 1-0, But if you really watch the game, especially in that first half, Man City had a stranglehold of that game. That what we've seen from that Man City performance is what we were meant to see in the Champions League final. The control levels, the way that they were playing, the way that they were moving the balls, like the way that they were moving the ball across the front line, having different players popping up in the middle. If that's De Bruyne, if that's Foden, Bernardo Silva, they were absolutely extraordinary. And I felt like they I think only had like one shot on like target
They
in the
had
first
none.
half. It did, they had none. It didn't justify their dominance, and overall, the game didn't
Oh,
justify
City had a couple, but yeah, sorry.
yeah, but like the game didn't justify how good City were. But I look on Chelsea side, and usually I would come in there and criticize them. But what I really felt about is that it just felt like just a bad day at the office for them. Everything just didn't seem to click, and it was very unlike Chelsea. You know,
Right.
across the board, defensively, yeah, it was good, but the midfield wise, you usually look at Jorginho to control the tempo like of the game and bring Chelsea up the field. You didn't see that. Kovacic was a bit sloppy. Kante was a bit sloppy. Not enough balls going through the middle. And usually, Chelsea are known for making the pitch big and like switching the play. When they did that, Man City just seemed to have a good control of them and really, really stop them from putting balls in like into the box. And front, they went for the 4-4-2. I get it. It didn't quite work. But one thing that kind of worries me if I was a Chelsea fan, in my eyes, this is this is just my eyes, is Romelu Lukaku. For this reason of he's going to score you goals. He's going to get his 20 goals a season. But my biggest thing, I've always looked at Lukaku and I've always questioned, is the fact that in big games, he doesn't really quite do it. And this is, and like to me, this is always down to, I look at his time in Man United, I look at his time at Everton, like at times, and I also look at Belgium. In certain big games, when you kind of need a goal for him, where you kind of need him to kind of take the game by the scruff of the neck. Yes, the Chelsea players didn't do enough to offer him, but he just seems to go missing. And I felt today like he really did went missing. Everything wasn't going his way. His touch wasn't going in. He didn't get chances, but that's like my real big thing. Lukaku in big games does quite worry me. Again, he will still get his goals, but going forward at times in big games, he really does worry me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think I'm like worried about it. I think you kind of summed it up at the beginning there, in my opinion. Bad day at the office. This City side are tough to play against. I mean, first of all, I think the main thing with Man City that you look at is, if you look at whatever the formation is on paper, that's just they're not going to play that way. The rotation, the ability to, some of these City players are playing in positions which some other football clubs haven't even heard of. In terms of be that in an attacking sense, transition, or defensively. The phrase I like to always go back to is, Pep Guardiola is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Like, that's absolutely bang on. That's exactly what's happening. Chelsea, it was not good. But again, I think bad day at the office. I'm not worried about what I saw from the Chelsea players. I just think that it was City's day. Again, it was relatively close. I think I remember Emerick Laporte had a really good opportunity to make it 2-0 at one point. But that couple of dangerous free kicks, I think, from memory for Chelsea as well. But yeah, again, James, I'm not worried here. Like Sammy, all Chelsea attackers are average. They might just scrape top four. I don't know what opinion that is. That's not true. You're crazy if you think that. You're absolutely crazy if you think that. I don't know, like, which attacking players from any team outside the top four are you saying are better than Chelsea's players? Like, do you know what I mean? I just,
Sammy, I wouldn't say like they're average. I don't look at Lukaku, see average. I don't look at Timo Werner. Let's move on. I don't look at Hakim Ziyech and like see an average player. I don't look at someone
Pulisic's great.
Pulisic. Pulisic to me, I don't know. He blows hot and cold for me. Kai Havertz, we're still waiting like on his proper arrival at Chelsea. But Chelsea to me is a team where you know what they are, you know what they do. it shouldn't surprise you week in and week out if you see something different from them. They do the exact same thing every single week to a high standard. And probably Jack, Sammy, you go to me like, what's Chelsea's biggest weakness when you rank Chelsea's? So you look at defenders, midfield, strikers. I mean, attackers. You probably say like they're probably the biggest thing that they don't do as well is probably going forward to a high level compared to how their midfield presses, like how their midfield plays and how their defense play. But overall, like going forward, compared to the rest of England, they're at least still a top 5 attack. You know,
Romelu Lukaku alone. Like, keep in mind, this is a team that plays heavy with wing backs as well. So this is kind of a midfield heavy with Lukaku mainly as the focal point. So even just Lukaku by himself, that's kind of the attack on the most part at this point. Look, Sammy, look, I just think this was a bad day at the office. I'm still not doubting Chelsea's ability to win a league title. And James, the biggest thing that I want to take away from this game, if we're talking about Chelsea beating Man City at the Etihad next year, in terms of, you know, in the reverse fixture, are you and I gonna sit here and go, oh my God, I can't believe it? No, of course not. Of course not. Chelsea are more than capable of winning 1-0 at the Etihad. Absolutely. So again, this is professional sports, ladies and gentlemen. The best team doesn't always win. And sometimes players who are great have off days. This was kind of one of those weekends. So at least that's the sense I got. I'm really not worried about Chelsea, and I'm not going to get carried away with Man City. Sammy, I know you think that City are going to win the league by 10 points. And hey, you may be right come the end of the season. I'm not there with you just yet. But I'm not. If I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm not overly worried about this fixture. James, you know what Chelsea's next game is? They're at home to Southampton. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Saints, but that's a game that Chelsea should comfortably win. They're going to get their confidence back, and they're going to be right back in the conversation like we've been talking about prior to this game week.
Cormac, we're going to get to that soon. All right. But
David, quickly, with BT Sports and Sky Sports releasing highlights of all the games, basically an hour after the game finished, do you guys still watch Match of the Day? David, I don't. I watch it all on YouTube. I know that's really bad. If my kind of 6-year-old, 7-year-old self could see me now, he'd be cussing me out, I swear. But seriously, having it on YouTube, and also, you know, it depends on the pundits you get on Match of the Day too, because sometimes you get guys who are like, hey, I rate these guys and I like their opinions. Sometimes you get some absolute clowns, and I'm not here for that.
David, I'm not gonna lie. For the past 2 years or so, I stopped watching Match of the Day because I could just catch it on on YouTube. But recently, I've been watching Match of the Day, and I seem to catch it week in and week out because I miss Wednesday because I wish the 3 o'clock kickoffs on Saturday because I have a match. I tend to now listen to like Match of the Day because I do like their analysis at times. So yeah, I still do watch Match of the Day. It's still by far the most entertaining thing, and I suggest everyone still check out Match of the Day. Let's keep a little bit of tradition going up.
Sammy, we did just list off a bunch of the wide players for Chelsea. These are not bums who you've never heard of. These are guys who cost tens of millions of pounds. These are top players who lots and lots of teams were interested in trying to sign.
But like, if you talk about wide players, Chelsea's wide players are the wing backs.
Right, exactly.
When you really think about it, like
Marcus Alonso is having one of the best seasons of his career in recent memory, and that is because he's being let loose as a proper wing back again. I think we're seeing Reece James get better and better and better. And again, you know, Sammy, if we're going to be overly critical of the attacking nature of this Chelsea team, these guys won the Champions League. You think they won the Champions League with no attacking players? Like, come on, that was even without Romelu Lukaku. So this is a team who knows how to attack. They, you know, to win a Champions League as of last year, they would have known how to put the ball in the back of the net.
Cormac, you actually make a good point right there. I'm not gonna lie, not your day depends on if your team wins or not. Because I remember when Arsenal lose, I'm like, oh, listen, not a chance. I'm watching today. So you guys recently, I'm guessing you missed the last 3 episodes of Match of the Day. You probably watched the first 3. But you've definitely missed the last one. You definitely missed yesterday's one. Let me tell you that. Fernando, but just a quick thing on Man City. Oof. Like, offensively, it's a bit of an issue. For all that dominance, for them to only have like one shot on target and only create that like a few chances, like here or there for all that possession, it's a bit worried. It's a bit of a worry. they need a centre forward. I think Guardiola's kind of made it clear that they need a centre forward. If they do get that, Jack, I think it's almost a formality
James,
that
if
they're like
if
they're going to
I'm
win it.
if I'm Harry Kane, I'm going full burn bridges mode. Seriously, I'm handing in a transfer request in January. I think City should be able to offer a little bit less money because obviously it's less of a time that they've had the player. And yeah, you know my thoughts on this. Harry Kane goes to Man City. Forget about it. You can have all the faith you want in Chelsea. I can have all the faith I want in Manchester United. We can both have faith that Liverpool at some point could get hot. But the moment Harry Kane goes City, it's over. James and I both, I think, would have the opinion that City would win the league. It's kind of a missing piece of the puzzle. Harry Kane, as much as we can make fun of his voice and all this kind of stuff, has an intelligent football player in there. And if Pep can kind of get his hands on his brain there and do some bits combined with his finishing ability and forward play, yes, it's over. It's over. The creative players that are already in that team. So that's what I would do if I'm Harry Kane. Again, another cliche. This whole stream's been a bit of a cliche, but missing piece of the puzzle, James. It would be, wouldn't it? Harry Kane, Man City. It just would be.
Now, is it matter if I have a weird thing? I don't think it would be over, but Man City would definitely be favorites. I feel I've kind of changed my stance that one player doesn't it makes him even better, but it doesn't quite change. There's still this league. It's very interesting, and there's still a lot to be determined here. We have to wait week in and week. It's almost like we have to tune in week in and week out to find out. What's the next episode and what's the next plot twist? Because something different seems to happen that makes everything change.
Okay, Sammy. All right, I think we're getting there now. We've kind of given some respect to City there, and I think we've told everybody to just chill a little bit here on the Chelsea doubters. But here we are. James can have his
First of all,
I'm going to go on mute. Actually,
I need all the Spurs fans. Guys, listen, Silver Surfer, all the Spurs fans. I need all you on right now. You guys we need to have a proper conversation right now because North London is as red as it can be. It's always been red, but it's officially. Now, I won't say officially. It's just is. This stream is red. This stream is red. I want to come on. I want you all to let me know. Let me have it. I'm not really going to say the score. I don't need to talk about the score. I need to talk about the performance. Man. I don't want to say Arsenal are back because I know in a few weeks' time I'm going to be feeling a certain type of way. Generally, the best 45 minutes Arsenal played under Mikel Arteta, it was absolutely stunning, and we'll get into Tottenham and how bad they were in a minute and how worrying it is. But let me just look at Arsenal. I criticized the fact that my thing was backwards was like a problem, but going forward was my biggest thing. The fact that we didn't create enough. The fact that once, let's say there was a chance there, we didn't take our chances enough. We did both today, and we did both to a high level standard. The first goal, brilliant from Saka. The movement from Emile Smith-Rowe. I think the question wasn't, does he get goals? You can score a 30-yard, 40-yard, but them little movement in the area to find a bit of space to score goals is where you're going to make your bread and butter. And the fact that he was able to, come off, the fact that he was able to come off the left, off the blind side of was it Sanchez, and then put the ball into the goal the way he did, absolutely stunning. That second goal had me like this.
James, dude, I know.
Emotional. That was emotion. Guys, let me have my moment right now because I might not have it for the rest of the season. Insane, right? Yes, it could have been a free kick to Tottenham there. I felt like Højbjerg was kind of playing for it. Ramsdale got a little bit got let off the hook a little bit.
You got to risk it though. It was that pass that created the whole goal.
But once that ball turned over, Smith-Rowe into Aubameyang. And my biggest thing with Aubameyang is that he doesn't really play as much. He doesn't really have that ability to hold and be an out-and-out striker. But comes towards the ball, outside of the foot, spins Sanchez, Smith-Rowe going. It felt like Henry and Perez back. It felt like Henry and Perez back at the lane in 2004. He pulls it back into the bottom corner, beautiful. And he does the slide celebration. Like he mimics Thierry Henry. Generally, that is one of the most iconic moments ever. The fact that Henry was in the stadium wearing an Arsenal shirt and Aubameyang does it in front of the Tottenham fans. I'm sorry, that's a moment for the heart right there. And then Saka wraps it up with the third goal. Tottenham were just an absolute shambles and like an embarrassment. Now, I hate this thing about football players. We have to talk about effort. As a professional football player, I should never ever talk about effort when it comes to like when it comes to players. But when we talk about a whole team lacking in effort, that is a serious problem. Because what more motivation can you get? Your biggest rivals, the biggest game of the season for Tottenham fans and Arsenal fans. You don't want to show up for that game. That is worrying. That is serious. And I don't take it back even to this season. I take it back to last season when the Dinamo Zagreb game away from home, where you guys lose. I think was it 3-0? And Lloris spoke after the game, and then Mourinho spoke after the game, and it was kind of within the lines of what Nuno said after this game, and the fact that you're still dealing with the same issues from last season about these players are here, shouldn't really be here because they don't give enough in training and this and that, and it's still going on right now. That's a really bad problem to have, and Tottenham fans are already calling for Nuno's head. I feel like it's a little bit reactionary, the fact that you guys won your first 3 games and everything was good, but I cannot lie, it's not looking great for him. It's not looking great for him, and my biggest suggestion to Nuno is to go back and do what you do best, because I feel like what he's really trying to do, he's trying to be something that he isn't. You know, like I get it, Tottenham are all about the press and this and that. That's not him as a manager. Be who you are, and you live and die by your own sword. I think he's kind of faking it at this moment of time. And if you're Tottenham right now, you must be absolutely fuming. Tottenham fans, get your comments in below and just let us know what you think about the whole thing. We can get into the Harry Kane stuff, but Jack, I've been going on for a while. What do you want to say about the whole thing?
Well, first of all, again, it's not one extreme. It's not the other. It's somewhere in between, right? I fully believe that about nearly anything in life. I believe that anybody's opinion, usually it's somewhere in between the two extremes. Okay. So that's what I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do here and get across. First of all, best 45 minutes we've seen, not just from Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, but from Arsenal since, I'm sure James could think of an example when Wenger was manager. Seriously, I do not know when we've seen a better performance there. Smith Rowe's movement for that first goal, not every player has that. No, I'm not going to crown Emil Smith Rowe as the next greatest thing and he should be starting for England or anything like that. But I'm telling you right now that the only reason that goal goes in is because of Emil Smith Rowe's initial movement. All right. Second goal was a work of art. It was a work of art. It really was. And again, sometimes it's the risks that then pay off. That on another day can be seen as a bad back pass, and then something happens with, a bad back pass, a bad pass out from the goalkeeper gets caught on, Son scores, oh no, Ramsdale's just as bad as Leno, right? But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. It was the start of one of the best counter-attacks we've seen all season. Probably the best counter-attack we've seen all season. Great for Aubameyang to get that goal. Celebration was class. Third Arsenal goal was very, very lucky. Okay, now, it comes about because of the pressure and because of taking the initiative to go at somebody. So they didn't just get it because, they kicked the ball in the air and it happened to land somewhere. No, they got it because they put the work into attack, and then, Saka got a little lucky at the end, but he still had to finish. So credit where credit's due. Kane had an off day. Couple opportunities here and there where maybe you'd think he should do a little better. Difficult in terms of, a difficulty level of being able to finish. Very, very difficult for somebody, but for somebody of Harry Kane's quality, you'd think that that's what he'd be wanting to do. But again, Spurs were done. I don't want to hear this, it was actually closer than the scoreline said. No. The moment the first half ended, scoreline could have been 3-2, and we could have been fretting in the 90th minute, but Spurs were done at halftime. Best Arsenal have played in ages. I sincerely hope that this is going to be what kickstarts Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. I hope that the players who were maybe unsure about Arteta and the style in which he does things and all this kind of stuff, I hope they see what they are capable of in a game of that nature, and they can go, you know what, let's keep doing this. Let's go for this. Let's from kickoff, let's go going forward. But I don't necessarily think it will be that Kickstarter. And for Spurs, just quickly, because I will let you go here, James. You know, guys, I like Eric Dyer as much as the next guy as kind of a enforcer midfielder off the bench, right? But Eric Dyer should not be a starting centre back for your football team. My goodness, what is going on there? That is not good.
Arsenal were Arsenal, but I for some reasons that I want to bring up a lot of things from Tottenham's side.
David, no, okay. First of all, just quickly, David, no, you do not want Andrea Pirlo coming in and managing Spurs. This is a guy who messed up horribly at Juventus. This is a guy who's basically really only played in one country his whole career, has no experience of the Premier League at all. You want Andrea Pirlo to come in after Nuno Espirito Santo? Really? I'm not trying to like, criticize you massively here, but there is no way that would be smart. Because when Pirlo comes in and wins 1 game out of 5, draws 2 and loses 2, you're going to want him to go as well. You need a proper proven manager at this point. Sorry, James. I read that and I was like, you are nuts. There is no way you want Andrea Pirlo coming in.
Do you know what? I've just some weird takes with this whole Tottenham thing. First, the first thing I'm going to... Okay, go on. Like,
no. I just... Come back to me because I've got one thing that I'll kick myself if I don't say. You go, but I just come back to me after.
Okay, but if you were... When I look at this Tottenham team, I feel like you have a lot of players there who are becoming overrated. Dele Alli hasn't been good since 2018. Like let's be truthfully honest. We're now trying to make Dele Alli something that he isn't. This creative midfielder who like plays from deep and picks out passes. Even under Pochettino, he didn't do that. He was playing off Harry Kane. He was making runs into the box. He was a goal-scoring midfielder. He wasn't this creative force that we see in that, runs games, plays plays deep and sprays the ball. That's not him. And right now, he's not at that level anymore. You know, I look at someone like Ndombele. I hear this all the time. Every Tottenham fan, talent. Look at the talent he has. Look at the talent he has. Yes. He has abundance of talent. His ability, his street football nature, his dribbling, the way he protects the ball is amazing. But I take it back to another Ndombele, but Dembele that actually played for you, the Belgian one. He was someone that had Ndombele's ability, but he also controlled games. Ndombele just doesn't do that. At times I'll watch him as a midfielder, 10, 15 minutes will go missing. He won't really do anything that makes you think like he does things that make you go, oh, but not to a consistent basis. And that's like my biggest problem with him. One second. A player like, for instance, Harry Kane. I think my biggest problem with Harry Kane right now is that Tottenham have made it so easy for Harry Kane to feel way too comfortable. Way too comfortable. The fact that I listened to this, I heard this from TalkSport. For the last 4 or 5 years, all I've heard from Tottenham is that we need a backup striker. So what Tottenham want to do is bring in a top quality center forward from another team like a Danny Ings or I don't know, like a Tammy Abrams and go, oh, cool. Could you come play for us? Yeah, we'll give you a lot of money, but wait, you're not going to be playing week in and week out. Maybe if Harry Kane gets injured, you can play. You might get 1 or 2 games here and there. You might get 20 minutes. What type of quality striker want to come into a team knowing that he has no chance of playing?
Right.
Tottenham, I've never heard Tottenham go, oh, we want to bring in a striker to challenge Harry Kane and make Harry Kane better. And you are seeing the problem now. Because everything's comfortable and he knows that if I play bad or if I do this, if I do that, I'm still going to play every single week. And that's the biggest problem with it. Too many players there are comfortable. Manager just doesn't fit what you guys want to do, and everything right now is just all over the place. Also, the second thing, you guys have brought in a bunch of players, but he's still going with the same side that played last season that failed on a number of occasions. Makes no sense.
This is my biggest thing with Spurs. Biggest thing, and I think this covers a lot of different aspects that you can criticize them for. Excuse me. I think that when you are classified as an overachiever, it's very easy to become complacent, right? Because when you're an overachiever, you're doing more than is being expected of you. So what that means is you kind of stop because you go, oh, good, I'm safe then. I'm good. I'm overachieving. Look at the amount we spend on wages. Look at the players we have come through the door. All this kind of stuff. Excuse me. You know, and I think what happens is you become comfortable. You become comfortable within this space of like, oh yeah, we're overachieving. We're Spurs. We're not supposed to be winning leagues and trophies and stuff. So we're just doing this. What Spurs need to do from a foundational basis, from the top hierarchy, filtering all the way down through to the match day squad and the teams that play, Spurs need to get into a position where they stamp their authority and go, we're not overachieving anymore. This is our level. Now, to me, that is a top 6 football team. That is a top 6 football team. So when we look at Spurs as a top 6 team anymore, and we've given them all this credit of, oh, haven't they done well to get into this new top 6 that we've been calling it for the past like 5 years or so, right? Oh, haven't we done well to get here? No. This is your level. This is your level now. Overachieving now for you guys is top 4. This comfort and dude, listen, I think this was summed up more than perfectly in the All or Nothing documentary that happened in Spurs. There were a number of occasions where you looked at some of the players and you went, you boys are just comfortable here. That's all you're doing. You're just comfortable here. I think what they need to do is start noticing what their level is and then start leveling up again. Start leveling up again. We see it far too often with guys becoming complacent and it becomes a cancer within the dressing room. It becomes a cancer within the dressing room. You look at what anything of what the Spurs team do in terms of recruitment, in terms of any of this stuff, and it just reeks of kind of, oh, do people still like us because we don't spend as much money as everybody else? Oh, do people still like us because when the expectations aren't as high? No. You've done enough now for that to be your level.
My thing with this Tottenham team is that where do you really go from here? Because the easy thing to do right now to me is to sack Nuno, and I don't truly get that because you brought this guy in. Jack loves to bring up this thing is that if you sack a manager, who are you going to bring in? David mentioned Pirlo. I'm very, very still skeptical about it. You want someone who's a little bit proven.
Pay the money for Conte. Stop messing around. Pay the money for Conte. I would say that. Solskjaer goes, I would say that. Arteta goes, I would say that. If Nuno you want to go, don't mess around. This is, for my money, it's him, Pep, Klopp, somewhere in that ballpark are the 3 best managers in the world. If you have a chance to get one of the 3 best football managers in the world, imagine the amount of money you have to pay for a manager compared to your highest earning football player and the impact that they're going to have. It's no contest, in my opinion.
But Jack, do you feel like Conte would want to come at this moment?
I don't.
Because
opportunity's gone, in my opinion.
I feel like the opportunity was gone. The fact that you guys didn't get him in the summer, because he still would look okay. We still have Harry Kane. Him looking at Harry Kane right now and seeing the way he's playing, I don't think that there's a chance of you guys getting him. I feel like maybe a Graham Potter might be your best hope at this moment in time. But personally, I wouldn't sack Nuno. I would let Nuno be Nuno at this moment of time. You know, because you guys acting like you want to be the old Spurs, and I get it, but you're not that anymore. Be what Nuno can be, and Nuno could get you like a top 6 finish. That's the best you can do at this moment of time. You guys need to start bringing in and start utilizing more of your order, like your new signings. Royale, I don't know why he didn't start. Christian Romero, you brought him record signing. Why was he on? Was he even on the bench, Jack? Let me just make sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, again, and I like Eric Dyer. I actually do. But for me, if he's starting at centre back for you in a 2, no less, I'm wondering what the hell's going on there.
Yeah, Romero was on the bench. What, why is he not playing? Why is a player like Brian Gill not kind of kind of giving a go? I
Who
just feel
came
like,
on and looked good, by the way.
you know, I you've tried, you tried and seen. Oh, do you know what, Jack Van Gaal? Would you?
I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe. I think that there's a guy who he's going to have no fear. Like James, all your comments that you just mentioned about Nuno not doing Nuno, the imposter thing going on that he's trying to do right now, he's trying to be something he's not. Louis van Gaal's not going to have that problem. Louis van Gaal is
He
not
will.
going to have that
He
problem.
he will be his own man, and he will justify why he why he is
Right.
his own man. But we're gonna get into a few comments right now before we end the chat. We're gonna start off here with Stu.
Stu, the EPL is no longer a top six. The bottom 14 are much trickier than EPL, say 6 or 5 years ago, when it was weak outside the top six cartel. Spurs, like Arsenal, got lazy. Look, I agree with that. I do believe that the league is much more competitive. I think James and I talked about this recently, actually. I think the top level has dropped, but I think the overall level has increased, if that makes sense. So I think that the worst team in the league now would beat the worst team in the league 10 years ago, right? But I think that the top team 10 years ago would beat the top team this year. Does that make sense? That's kind of
Yeah,
the level
yeah,
I'm talking about.
yeah.
I think the gap is smaller, but the overall top level is the overall top level is lower. Excuse me, that's a hard one to wrap your head around. But yeah, look, I agree with you. And unfortunately, Arsenal and Spurs, in and amongst those teams, like maybe your Leicesters, maybe your West Hams. These are the kind of teams who might get lost in the shuffle because there are very clearly four kind of elite, quote unquote, elite teams right now.
Yeah, another comment from David here.
It's quite funny that Spurs, we're not a cash-strapped club. We have money, we just don't like spending it. Plus, we already missed the chance to get Conte.
And do you know what it is? Like, I get it. Do you know what, David? Those are actually some good shouts right there. I don't mind that. But do you not feel like you guys are a bit too reactionary? We're already wanting to change a manager? Because let's be truthfully honest here. 6 games gone, 3 wins, 3 losses. Yes, the losses weren't pretty, and yes, the wins weren't pretty. But he still has 9 points on the board. And against and against Man City, to be fair, you guys look half decent.
But again, James, the funny thing with points as well, take away one of those wins and make 3 of the losses draws, right? It's the same amount of points. Think about how different the narrative is. That's what's crazy for me. Instead of 3 wins, 3 losses, say 2 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss, right? Or whatever. Would that make 6, 2, 3? Yeah. Like, think about how different the narrative is there. That's what's crazy about this whole thing.
I feel like it's not just
David, do it, because I want to talk to you about it. I really do, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just telling you, if you're a real Spurs fan, that's who you want coming in. Really, guy doesn't even have his pro license yet.
I think he does. I think surely he would like had to get it in Juventus. Because the thing about David, that when he was coach of Juventus, it looked so disjointed with that Juventus team and the level that they were at. They looked disjointed. Could you imagine if he was at Tottenham, who are not at the level of Juventus at this moment of time? How even more disjointed it's gonna feel. Would he like be able to get the respect of these players while coaches like Jose,
got it last year.
You know what he got last year, with coaches like Jose Mourinho, like Nuno Espirito Santo, who are struggling to get the respect of these players at this moment in time. They're going to think that he can do it. Like, I don't know. It's to me, it's a bit of a weird one. I just don't think that Tottenham fans should just be too reactionary right now. At least give him like 10, 15 games to kind of see where you guys are at. I can already tell it doesn't look good. And yes, it does feel like a Mourinho thing. Actually, even worse than a Mourinho thing for you guys. But just give him time.
Yeah, you can't. And the other thing as well, James, you mentioned it. You can't keep doing this new manager. Things look good for 3 or 4 games. Sack him. Like, it doesn't work.
Well, like if you're Chelsea, you can do that.
Unless you're Chelsea.
All right, because they can do it. They do it for about 6 to maximum 2 years, and then he's out. But they win. That's to me, that's different. But I mean, just think about how things were so different before the international break. Tottenham were top of the league, haven't conceded yet. Everything was good. Arsenal were bottom of the table, hadn't scored yet. Terrible. Arteta out, all this stuff, and I'm not going to get into that stuff right now. But look at how the narrative and everything is kind of changed. You've seen a team elevate, and you see another team drop. Right now, we're both looking at each other head to head right now, and I don't know who's going to finish ahead, because as great as Arsenal looked against Tottenham, we still have a Chelsea performance or a Man City performance or a Brentford performance in us week in and week out. And Tottenham is the exact same thing. You know, you would say at this moment in time, when it comes to the North London clubs, is may the best team win. Generally, may the best team win. But it seems like you and David right now are having a bit of a serious,
I'm okay. Just got a bit of a cough. It's not COVID. I tested last night. It's not COVID.
What, did you have one of them, like them mini test stuff?
Yeah. The thing where you have to shove it up your nose and down your throat. Yeah, it's brutal.
I think I actually do that every week, to be fair. But guys, Jack needs to get to work right now. And to be fair, we're gonna have a better breakdown of everything soon. Where we can sit down and really break it, really break this whole game down. And we're gonna have. I might have to get Lurkin. I might be back to have another reflection on what's going on with Tottenham at this moment in time. So guys, stay tuned. We have a lot
quickly as well. Quickly, anybody who's made any kind of bold comments, right? Because we hear you, we see you, right? And James and I aren't short of our own. Time will tell with all this stuff, all of it. Sammy doesn't think. Did he even say that Chelsea aren't making top 4? Did he say 4th best or something? Look, if Chelsea finish 4th, okay, James and I aren't going to pretend that we don't know that Sammy was right, and we'll say, hey, fair play, me and James got it wrong, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. But the thing is, a lot of these things, you can have all the logic in the world behind any of your decisions, any of them. David, look. If Andre Pirlo somehow does end up at Spurs and you guys start making top 4 and winning the odd cup and blah, 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 shut my mouth, right? But certain logic, to me, does not suggest that that's going to be the way things go going forward. In the same way that I can try and justify the best thing ever, but it may not happen. I'm the idiot, guys, everyone. I'm the idiot who last year said there weren't enough goals in the Man City team for them to win the league. Right? That's me. They then won the league pretty convincingly.
Scored a lot of goals.
Right. And this season they didn't address the striker position, right? And here we are. They just beat Chelsea at Chelsea. And yeah, okay, I've got City finishing 3rd. Maybe they'll win the league again without signing a number 9. Who knows? But it's just not what
I just said Man United don't have what did I say? They don't have enough bank. They don't have enough credit in the bank, and I definitely still stand I definitely still stand by that. But again, guys, don't be scared to give your opinions here. I know Sammy isn't. David, I love your opinion. Don't be scared, guys, to let us know what you think. I'm still not sure about Pirlo as a coach. He still needs. In fact, him proving himself at Tottenham could be something.
What scares me though? What scares me though, James, is Fonseca now coming in and not doing a good job, because maybe he didn't have the transfer window, he didn't have preseason, didn't have all this stuff. Fonseca comes in and he has a terrible time, right, or something like that, and then everyone comes at me and goes, "Oh, I can't believe he's at slightly." Well, the situation's different.
Do you think that Fonseca to Tottenham could be something that happens now?
I think the channels of communication, I'm sure, will still be open. But again, a lot of these managers, what was Nuno, like 4th or 5th choice?
He was about 10th in my book, because they had Brendan Rodgers, they had Nagelsmann, they had Conte, they had who else?
Parker, was Scott Parker in there at one point?
Yes, they had Gattuso, they had Parker, They had
Fonseca.
Fonseca. Like they had a lot of choices
I'm
before
just
they.
once you get into that recruitment process and then you get either rejected or anything, do you kind of ruin the relationship? I'm not sure.
No, but I'm pretty sure it was a break. I'm not sure. I think it was a breakdown in communication when it came to like fees agreed on like certain things in Fonseca's contract. But I just feel at this moment in time for Tottenham fans and a lot of people, let's not be too reactionary. Tottenham
Right.
can come back next week and Harry Kane can score a hat trick and everything could be good again. Do I think Harry Kane is right and wants to be at Tottenham? I don't see that. The fact that 6 games are already gone in this season, Harry Kane hasn't scored yet. That is the most unlike thing we're going to see. It's not
Right.
4. It's 6 games in now. He hasn't scored. I know he's scoring in the League Cup and the what you might call it, confused
Conference
cup or whatever
league.
Conference cup, so whatever league right there.
Oh, dude,
it's a worry with him. And just to see the way how it evolved yesterday, and the fact that he was involved in the turnovers, he was involved in in the problems going on when Arsenal did score, was a big thing for Tottenham fans. And he's one that you're going to point at because at the end of the day, when you look at Tottenham's leaders, he is one of them. Let's get into this last comment from David, and we'll probably end it there, Jack.
With Pirlo, kind of like if Gattuso joined Spurs, I think players want to play for a good legendary player. Coaches, before Nuno, I wanted Sarri as coach. Look, I don't disagree with you. I think that if you can have the respect of your contemporaries, initially, this was my thing with Zidane. I think that if Zidane walks into a room, if Zidane had no coaching badges and he told me to do something, I'd go, yes, sir. Okay, I'll do that. I totally get that point of argument. But again, we've seen it countless times. Great players are not always great coaches. It's a completely different skill set. And within football as well, you can know football, but applying what you know to a certain situation is a totally different skill set. Andrea Pirlo is an absolute master of the position he played, of short game passing, controlling tempo, positioning, all this kind of stuff. But applying that in a Spurs game
something that Man United definitely needs right now.
Right, but it's a great example. The reason, in my opinion, why I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing such a good job is because he's a good bloke, not because he's a great football manager. I think that the squad harmony is great because he's a nice guy, but I don't think that that's going to potentially lend itself to winning titles and stuff. I'm making the prediction that this year it does, but who knows? It might not. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did not fail dramatically at, what was it, Sunderland, or where the hell was he manager?
It was freaking no, it was Cardiff. Was it Cardiff?
Cardiff, yeah. He wasn't a great manager there because he wasn't a great manager there. I'm sure the squad harmony was great because he's a nice guy. It's the same with Pirlo. Sometimes you do need that ability to assess a situation and apply your football knowledge. And for me, I did not see that at all with Andrea Pirlo. At all.
Like, it's the exact same thing with someone like a Frank Lampard.
Right.
The name sounds good. It's good. It's like it's great. He's been there. He has that ability. But as Jack said, coaching is a different sort of
totally
thing.
Different.
I remember, I think, was it Maradona or like someone made this comment about top players who, let's say you're coaching. So they're top players who have all this ability in the world. They have to now ask a player to do something that they can do very, very easily, but that player can't do it to the level that he did as a player. Do you know how different
the translation is difficult?
It's completely different. Like Pirlo, who can switch a 40-50 yard ball, and like he may look at that midfield and go, yo, when you have it there, I need you to look up, check your your shoulder, turn, receive it on the back foot and switch it there. And like that's a Pirlo's normal, but another player would be like, huh? You want me to do that? I
James,
can't do that.
Here's my favorite two players we can talk about: Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. Right? Pep Guardiola was a good player. You might even go as far to say he's a great player. But I don't think we're going to be, when James and I did our all-time top central midfielders list, Pep Guardiola's name didn't come up, not even in the honourable mentions. Pep's brain and what his body allowed him to do and what he was capable of, two very, very different things. It's the same with Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp was not some immense all-time great striker, but he does have the ability as a man motivator, as a tactician, to be able to do this other stuff. And sometimes it's the complete opposite. you do have somebody like an Andrea Pirlo who could be regarded as an all-time great player, but then it doesn't translate. But then you have somebody like Pep, who maybe as a player was a little bit lacking, but his ability to understand the game, apply what he knows to certain situations is elite, is top level. It's why, not all players are fantastic football managers. I think the best recent example is obviously what Steven Gerrard's done. But again, it all remains to be seen. There's so many different attributes here as well. And I think that football coaches need to be given credit, especially the ones who didn't have a professional playing career, because it means they've really learned their craft to be as good as they can be. But James, we wrapping it up?
Yeah, guys, unfortunately, we're going to wrap it up right now. Kind of had like a bit of a cool down here. Just I'm just kind of explaining our methods right now. But guys, thank you for all coming out right now. I know for a fact, Tottenham fans, everything's bad, and I absolutely love it at this moment in time because Arsenal do what Tottenham mean. But you know what football's like, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, guys. This is Box to Box Football, Jack and James, and we will see you guys next time. David, thank you for coming out. Really appreciate you.